हेलो स्टूडेंट्स, आज हम डिस्कस करेंगे पोस्ट मेंडेलियन जेनेटिक्स। इन प्रीवियस क्लासेस हमने जो भी डिस्कशन किए थे, ऑल दोज डिस्कशंस वेर बेस्ड ऑन द एक्सपेरिमेंट्स ऑफ मेंडल, क्योंकि केवल मेंडल के एक्सपेरिमेंट पे ही रिलेटेड था, विच वाज ऑन द पी प्लांट ओनली, बिकॉज द एक्सपेरिमेंट्स कंडक्टेड, जो भी लॉज आए थे मेंडल के समय में, दे ऑल वेयर बेस्ड ऑन द पी प्लांट, एक्सपेरिमेंट्स ऑन द पी प्लांट्स. बट आफ्टर मेंडल, various scientists also studied inheritance of some characters in different plants other than pea plant, and in these plants they found that their result is not exactly same with that of Mendel. मेंडल के समय मेंडल का जो मोनोहैबिट, डाईहैबिट और ट्राईहैबिट के रेशियोज थे, they were not directly matched with in case of other plants. Other plants पे exactly मेंडल की तरह रेशियो नहीं आ रहे थे. There were some variations in the results, and all these results accumulated together is studied under post Mendelian genetics. यानी मेंडल के बाद जो साइंटिस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट प्लांट्स पे जेनेटिक्स की स्टडी की, उनमें कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट डेविएशंस और वेरिएशंस को हम पढ़ेंगे कि हाउ दीज रिजल्ट्स और द genetics after Mendel was different, because at the time of Mendel nothing more was known about the genes और chromosomes के बारे में उस समय बिल्कुल there was no information, and the internal structure of the cell was also not very much well defined at the time of Mendel. So after Mendel, several scientists also did experiments on different plants other than pea plant, and they found some deviations from Mendel's law, which is called as post Mendelian genetics or deviation from Mendel's law. तो इसमें कुछ deviations और कुछ examples हम स्टडी करेंगे. The first and important deviation which shows different result as from Mendelian genetics of pea plant is, first is the case of, we will discuss incomplete dominance. First case is incomplete dominance. If you remember, in the Mendel's law we studied the law of dominance, but the law of dominance is not totally followed in every plant groups or animals. There are certain cases in which incomplete dominance is found. So we will discuss all these topics in detail in separate videos. Now the first example or the first post-Mendelian genetics is the incomplete dominance. Now the second thing we will study in post-Mendelian genetics is codominance. Codominance. Then there is a case of multiple allelism also. In Mendel or in the pea plant, we know that a gene contains two alleles, but there are certain examples like blood group in which more than two alleles are also present to control a character, which is called as multiple allelism. We will also discuss in detail multiple allelism. Then the next thing we will discuss in post-Mendelian genetics is gene interaction. Means interaction of two genes, which is popularly called as linkage and recombination. we'll see in linkage that how the result differs in case of linkage, in which two genes, inheritance of two genes is affected because there is linkage between them. Now after linkage there is, we will also discuss pleiotropy. Pleiotropy. In pleiotropy, a single gene contains more than one characters. Means more than one characters are affected by the single gene, which is a case of pleiotropy. We will discuss it in detail. Then there is polygenic inheritance. Means more than one gene is going to control a single character, like skin color in human beings. Polygenic inheritance. Then there is gene interaction. In Mendel's law, we studied that there is independent assortment. It's law of independent assortment, but in certain cases, the two genes are not independently assorted or separated at the time of gamete formation, but they get separated together with a particular allele or particular gene, which is called as gene interaction. Then there are also some topics like epistasis, which is not very important for your examination, but we will cover epistasis. After epistasis, there are also one or two topics remaining, like so these are overall major topics under which we are going to cover the post-Mendelian genetics, in which the result will be different from what we studied in case of Mendel's monohybrid, dihybrid and trihybrid crosses in F1 and F2 generation के जो भी results होंगे, they will be different from Mendel's, and the law of Mendel will not totally followed in case of these examples. So these are also called as deviation from Mendel's law or post-Mendelian genetics.